love is all around me. Oh, let me know that friends are all around me. Oh, let me know that friends are all around me. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. All right, come on into the room. Yeah? I hope you can hear me well. Hope the piano sounds good. I hope you're feeling good today. I hope you know the love is all around you. I hope that your steps reveal the path of peace. Come on into the room and oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. All right, just stay right there so I can see what's coming up. Oh, yeah. I don't see any comments, so I'm just going to keep going. Oh, there she goes. Hi, Acela. She sounds pretty good tonight. All right. Acela knows the difference. La, 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 la. Don't have no reverb tonight, Acela. This is me and bare bones. I'm not talking about Ade. He ain't bare bones. He's my brother in progress. Oh, Chef Lori, I miss you so much. How you doing? Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. All right, now I'm going to sing this was a song just a little bit longer while people come into the room. Hey, Catherine Louise, Sister Catherine. Yes. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love. Let us love in a holy, holy way. Just giving thanks right now for a time together, for a time of conversation and songs, for a time of remembering who we are and who we represent and what we came to do. Because we all came to do something wonderful. We've been set up wonderfully to do well. And I'm thankful that we who join in tonight are all about the business of shining our true nature and shining who we really are, our real essence. So thank you for joining us tonight. And I'm not getting any comments, so I hope anybody is. Oh, wait, I needed to click the right button. Hey, we got it. We got the real button. Hey, Ann. I'm going to call you Annie. And Marion Lewis is with us. Okay. And Chef Lori. So people are coming. But we're not going to waste a lot of time, not that I waste time, but I want to get to the conversation tonight because I have my distinguished brother from another Mr. and Mother, but who is a powerful advocate for us living a life on point and anchored in God. I want to bring into our studio right now the great Ade Anifowose. Anifa, is it Anifowose or Wose? Woshe or Woshe?
Shay, Anifowose, like shea
Anifa
butter.
Woshe. Anifa
There
Woshe.
you go.
Ade
Mm.
Anifa Woshe is with us today. He's laughing like I'm working too hard. But I think you're laughing because it sounds so good. That's what I think.
That's right. And it's like, oh my God, I miss hearing that. Oh, it makes my heart smile.
Ain't nobody else calling you Ade. They calling you
Nope.
what's happening, Ade? You know,
There's
born in
that.
a beautiful name, but not a beautiful man. So you're doing well today?
Yes, I am doing well. Happy to be here. Excited to see what happens.
What happens at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Okay. And we don't have to keep it here. We can let it go out into the ethers.
Yeah, well, we're in that timeless space, that
That's right.
that timeless dimension, where
Hmm.
you get to come out of sleep for a moment and just kind of groove
Yeah.
with us as we
I,
continue
hmm.
to watch people coming into the room. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm thankful for everybody on the thread tonight. I was at Unity Village the last week for the
Mm.
Posse Fest, and at the Posse Fest, Posse means positive music, the Positive Music Festival, and some people who are on our thread tonight were there. Estella Thompson was there, Ann Coombs, and actually Annie and Ann played with me at one of my devotional sessions, and we had a beautiful time. We did "My God Is So Good to Me" and some other songs, and she's a great musician, and she has music schools, and she's taught music at prestigious places, and but even beyond that, she was at the revival. She and Estella were at the revival, and they're just good people. So welcome into the room tonight again. They're here frequently, and everybody else who's coming on in, just come on in and say hello. Maxine, hi Maxine, and Terry Dean, hi Terry. John Lavoy is Lavoie, Lavoyer. I don't know how to say your name.
I think you said it right the first time. The voice sounds, I don't
Lavoy.
know. Yeah.
Aloha. John Lavoy comes in from Hawaii. Terry Dean is from
Hawaii.
her new Albuquerque, New Mexico, who opened up a new. She's a master candle maker, and
Mm.
many on the thread have her candles because they've been used and uh, for special events. And you'll see a candle, and it'll be from Co-Creations. That's Terry Dean. She's got a brand new store
Ah,
that opened
nice.
up called Co-Creations Limited, and it's a
Mm.
candle it's a candle shop, but it's got all kinds of other wonderful things for decor of your home. And she's just in a whole new phase where she stepped out large, and I think
Nice.
she's over the shock of it now.
She's lighting up the world.
Yeah,
That's
she
awesome.
is. Yeah, and
Mm.
you're lighting up the world too, brother Ade. And so,
Mm.
welcome back to Soulful
Yes, it's good
Healing.
to be back. Very
Yeah,
good to be back here. Yep, it's home. It's home. And I saw the intro, and he still say Rickie Byars and life coach Ade. So it's like, oh, okay, I'm not going anywhere. I just be traveling, then I come back home.
yes,
Hey,
yes, yeah,
Maxine.
yeah. Well,
Mm.
tonight we're talking about having the ability to travel and
That's
come
right.
back home and come back home. We're
Hmm.
talking about the nature of freedom and liberation, and what it means when we are free. What is freedom? And it's like if in the universe, I kind of think nobody ever did create. I mean, the slavery thing is something that emerges out of a very warped system.
Hmm.
So when it unwarps, it becomes creatively giving, creatively loving, creatively sharing, and caring
Yes.
for each other, as opposed to using each other to get something, and
Yes.
or using somebody else's skills and talents without compensating them in any way, and being very cruel
Hello.
in the process.
Hello.
So but what we're talking about tonight is all of that,
Yes.
and but for us right now, in this dimension that we live, we've seen the evolution of people along the way. I mean, I've seen my own evolution, And I see the shoulders that I stand upon. I see this, I don't know the shoulders. I know your dad and your mom and your story, which is a movie,
Mm-hmm.
well, some of your story. It's not your whole story.
Mm-hmm.
It's just your
Right.
your beginnings. But what it was like when you were in certain situations that felt normal because you were a little baby, little boy,
Right.
and
Mm-hmm.
then when you look back on it, you go like, what? uh,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe when you were taken out of that situation and put into one with people of your skin color and people that look
Mm-hmm.
like you, like what did it feel like to be in a whole nother environment, and how, you know, where's the freedom in that? You know,
Mm-hmm.
how did
Mm-hmm.
you find your balance as a
Mm-hmm.
child, and
Yeah.
and how did it make you better? Because the
Mm-hmm.
theme is the same thing that I had in my talk at Unity Village Chapel on Sunday. I was a speaker
Mm-hmm.
there at the Unity Village Chapel in Lee Summit, Missouri. And my topic was, and I don't have no topics. I actually got a topic. So
Well, you actually have topic just delivered to you when you need it.
I'm getting better. But my topic was that, like, we've been set up to do well. We've been set up to
Absolutely.
do well, whatever it is that we've lived through, what we've gone through, what has been denied us, what has been, oh, even all the oppression, everything was a setup in this dimension for
Mm-hmm.
us to do well.
Mm-hmm.
For us to do well, to dance on top of it. And so let's talk about you and how you're dancing on top of all the things that you had a lot of question marks about.
Ooh, Lord, you were stirring the pot. You were touching stuff. I was like, you were touching things. I'm like, how she know to bring that up?
Well,
I
you
think
touch a
of
movie. You got a
the
movie
right.
that's won awards, and
Yes,
it's winning awards over there in the UK. And the name
yes.
of the movie is
White nanny, black child.
White Nanny, Black Child.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Oh, look at the producer. She's on it.
yeah, she got you holding the BAFTA award. Yes,
Yes, which is equivalent to the Oscars, really.
Mhm.
It's funny because, I'm also thinking about freedom, the freedom to tell your own story, the way you see it, the way you experience it, and freedom to tell the uncomfortable stories. And when we get more comfortable about telling the uncomfortable
The
stories,
uncomfortable stories.
yes, that's when we really know freedom. And it's like, damn it, this is my story, and and I'm telling my story the way I
Hmm.
see it.
Hmm.
It's interesting because I'm like, I was gonna go when you were kind of putting the questions out, my mind went somewhere, and then you touched on something, and I think I'm gonna start here because yeah, it actually caught me off guard, like, damn.
Hmm.
So a few days ago, I think it was last Thursday or Friday, I can't remember exactly. Some few days ago, I was talking to a therapist. We were going through an assessment to see if a service is gonna help me. Well, basically, we match. And I remember, so when I talk about my childhood, which I kind of go into the story back and forth. I was born in UK. 2 months old, my parents placed me with a nanny. It's private fostering. There was no regulation, is what the West Africans did. They came over here in the 60s and they were going to school, got a job. They want to send money back home. They need somebody to watch their children or their child. And it's what people do in the community. Well, we know this nanny. Why don't you go over here? Well, the first nanny I was with, I don't, daddy never told me. Wow, I said, daddy. Yeah, because when we refer to him, we call him daddy. And just now that came out my mouth. Normally, when I talk about it, I say dad.
Hmm.
And to say daddy now, I just felt him felt him so deep. It's in August 20th will be a year since he left the earth, but it's now everywhere. So the first nanny that I went to, I was there for 2 weeks, 2 months, yeah, 2 months old. I was there for 2 weeks. They took me out of there because she gave me alcohol. And they concluded that she was giving me alcohol because I cried a lot, and that's the way that she put my behind to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I got drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And when my father found out he was Muslim, he was like, "Nah, we're not having this." So he took me out. And they said about 2 weeks later, they found this other nanny who was the one that I stayed with till age 4. Her name is Pat. And they found what they call a corner shop here. It's kind of like a 7-Eleven, and they would have a little advertisement on the glass and saying a nanny available for children. So they found her found the advertisement in London. She was living outside London. So basically, I was staying with her in a place called Hastings. And so the movie, kind of fast forward 'cause it's quite long. The movie is about Nigerian children who went through that experience. The stats is like from 1960 or maybe a little bit earlier up until 1970. They said it's estimated that 70,000 Nigerian children had that experience of being privately fostered.
Mm-hmm.
And what was so interesting, one of many things about that that's interesting is we all just thought that's just a story.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody thought it was a big deal. For some of us, well, the cast members anyway, some of them were there till about 8, and suddenly their Nigerian parents came back to take them from what we call a nanny, foster parent. And nanny in UK is not about, it's not like in America, because a friend of mine said to me in America, she said, "Oh, when you said nanny, I thought your parents were rich and you had the woman come into your house." And no, 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 no. We go to the nanny's house. We're there. So some of them were there till age 8 and without seeing their parents too often, and suddenly the parents came back and took them to Nigeria. Some of them stayed there all their lives and had to reconnect with their parents like in their 20s, and so that left all kind of feelings that you can imagine. I was there till 4, and then my parents went to Nigeria, and I obviously went back with them. um, so in the documentary, we all talked about the impact, which was raw, and we there was one cast member who was moved from one foster family to another. She was abused, she was raped. She talked about one time she was so nervous she peed on the floor, and they made her lick it up. She it was it was her story took all of us to a place we needed to go, and if we weren't willing to go there, her story helped us get there. So for me, when I look back at those times, it's just something that happened. I saw how it played out. One, I never really felt like anywhere was home. I always feel displaced. And more in my adult life, I felt like I wasn't Nigerian enough, especially the fact one reason being I left Nigeria 1986, and I haven't been back since. And there are things in the way I think is not the way I used to think when I was in Nigeria, or maybe the way I would think if I was in Nigeria. So there were things that were just so different because people, Nigerian friends or my siblings would say, Ode, I want Loyinbo. Like, here we go. Here we go. This is, or they call basically the Oreo. Like, yeah, they come up with the Western way of dealing with things. That's not our culture. Oh, that used to piss me off. Oh my God, because they were going to the wound and telling me I'm different from them. And my younger sister eventually got it. So that's what the documentary is about and how we've navigated that that journey. The thing that you said that struck me is when I was speaking to the therapist a few days ago, and she said to me, "So what was it like for you when you got back to Nigeria?" I said, it was normal. I mean, I guess it was neutral." She said, "What you mean? So what did you feel?" I said, "Yeah, it was okay. I don't have any negative feelings about it." She said, "Wait, hold on." She said, "So do you remember anything?" I said, I remember that the first nursery I went to, the principal there was a white woman who sort of reminded me of Pat. I said, what else? I said, it was okay. She said, "Are you saying you don't remember?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't remember a lot of stuff that happened." And she said, "What about after age 4?" I'm like, mm, "Hmm, I guess I don't remember." So few days ago, well, up until a few days ago, I just told the story that, well, my childhood was fine, and I can still say it's fine, even though I don't remember. But it's quite intriguing to think that I don't remember a lot of things, and now something is awakening me. It's like, oh, what am I not remembering? What did I blank out? What am I ignoring? What am I in? Because it's traumatic. I've been with this white woman, Pat, even though my parents will come on one weekend. Eventually, they will come to visit in Hastings to see me and Pat. And then the following week, Pat will bring me to London. And so it was that constant back and forth, back and forth. And I believe that's part of that feeling of displacement. Like
But
it
there's
wasn't
something,
really.
but that brings a gift though, you know.
Absolutely.
It's like, and have you found that because you have been in so many different situations from the UK to Germany to
Hmm.
Nigeria to
Hmm.
Atlanta, that you can that you can do you find that you're able to acclimate
I want
uh,
to say yes before you finish the question. Absolutely.
that
Absolutely. That's why I said I can say fine, even though I don't know the story,
yeah,
because there's a way that we tell our story sometimes, like it's
yes,
a deficit or harm. Yes, I could be traumatized, but out
yeah,
of that traumatic experience, it
hmm,
shaped me to see the world a certain kind of way.
yeah,
Now, people have the freedom to tell the story the way they want to tell the story.
yeah,
But
yeah,
because of that, yes, and I don't, when people tell me, "Oh, I've been living in the same neighborhood for 30 years," I'm like, "Oh my God, I feel
hmm,
uncomfortable,"
hmm,
because I don't mind moving
yeah,
and traveling. So it's like both ends. Like, oh, I don't. I mean, even friends in secondary school, high school in Nigeria, I'm not in connection with them. I kind
yeah,
of grieved that. I've grieved that,
yeah.
but I have friends all over the place. Like some of them, if I find them on social media, we can have a conversation. But yes, you're right.
And also, there was something about your journey, I believe, especially with your journey with Hillside and New Thought, and
Whew,
really learning, wrapping your heart and your mind, or your heart, around a teaching of love, and
yes.
learning who you are, that you
Mhm.
can go and look, because you're stronger inside, and you can go back and look at those places uh, without um,
Mhm.
without losing yourself to the pain of it. Now, it's one thing to,
Absolutely.
it's one thing to feel it. It's one thing to feel it. It's not like we're to be numb or anything. But I just feel like,
Hmm.
with what we've
Hmm.
learned, and the way we can carry it might be different. With what we've learned, because
Yes,
we've been set up we've been set up to see God. In everything.
absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. And the teachers, people who've had near death experience would tell us that we chose this life and we already designed it before we get here. I don't know if
Mhm.
it's true because I didn't have that experience and I'm not denying it.
Yeah.
However, whether that's true or not,
Hmm.
if I am in God and God is in me, and
Hmm.
I'm still here after the
Hmm.
story, the experience, the trauma,
Right.
whatever it was, the things I struggled with,
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
still here. And
You,
as you said, I've said to friends many times, oh, without the spiritual awareness, spiritual understanding of who I am, who and
hmm.
what God is, and my commitment to learning and knowing and wanting to go deeper every day, I
Yeah.
don't know who I would be. I would be something else, but I guess I didn't write that in the story because that has made me, it's like, because it's not even spiritual bypass. I have done my spiritual bypass
Mm-hmm.
when I first started Hillside and the way
Mm-hmm.
I saw life. And because
Mm-hmm.
one, attending Hillside was like, oh my God, people are speaking thoughts that I've had, but I've never heard anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting confirmation and affirmation that we are all loved, all of us. It doesn't
So why
matter
did
who
you
you
call it
are.
a spiritual bypass?
No, what I'm saying about spiritual bypass is not dealing with the issue.
Oh,
So that,
okay.
sometimes we say it's all God, but when something is tapping inside to be addressed,
Obviously, you see
it's
some people really maladjusted, and they're going like, "All is well." I'm going like, "Well, all
yeah,
is
all
well.
is well.
Why you acting like that?"
Right, exactly. So that's what I mean by the spiritual bypassing.
Yeah.
But the hillside experience, I remember the first time I walked into hillside, I'm like, the things that I was hearing come through Dr. Barbara's mouth,
Mm-hmm.
through her being,
Yes.
I was like, wait a minute, this is where I belong. I was
Yeah.
shocked
Yeah.
because I had those ideas, but I
Mm-hmm.
never really heard it the way I
Yeah.
heard at Hillside. And
Yeah.
I thought there was something wrong with me.
Yeah.
Like,
I believe me.
from,
It was all of. It was lots of people in the thread. It was our experience. Like I have
yes,
Ann and Estella. They go to, excuse me, Unity of the Blue Ridge in Asheville. And I'm sure when when folks on the thread walked into Unity the first time, or Agape, or Hillside International Truth Center,
yes,
all these different places, we got to hear something that was not, at least in the teaching of it, was not about judging you. It was about
yes,
loving you. And that and a lot of times, like, you're made in the image and likeness of God.
yeah,
You are love. You are
yeah,
brilliant. What is it that if you can see it, you can achieve it. And sometimes that message gets very strong in the head, you know,
hmm
where sometimes people become very ambitious in trying to use the principles to grow their business, which is not
yes,
which is not a bad thing,
yes,
because if you're going to have a business that's built on those kinds of principles, it might be a good business. But
yes,
if you neglect the
yeah.
opportunity to actually
Let
align,
it grow your,
to let it
let it.
grow your heart, let it grow
Whew.
your heart. Yeah,
When it grows your heart, it
yeah,
takes root.
yeah, yeah. When it
When you,
grows you,
yes.
yeah, and
So
it's
in the midst of a
because
detention,
right, and I
you're
see it.
free.
Yes, yes. I mean, it's like, well,
Yeah.
okay, it's growing your business, but is it growing you? You
Yeah,
know,
that's it. That
yeah.
is it.
Is your
Absolutely.
heart opening? Are you really, because that, I feel like that's the point of a journey of freedom. It's like
Yes.
that we are here to do just what you just said.
hmm
To be
hmm
grown by God. To be
Yes.
God grown.
God grown.
I feel a
God
song.
grown.
I feel a song coming on. I feel a song coming on. Now I want to let everybody know I have no reverb tonight. This is Ricky without the reverb. Okay, but there's a song, because these are songs that have the word freedom in it, and the name of this song, a little bit of it, is "Grateful." I'm not going to do the whole song, but there's and I did this song with Ann at Unity Chapel, and it says, "Grateful for the day that brings the sunshine. Grateful for the love of God that is mine. Grateful for my life. I am so glad to be here. Grateful for the life in all existence. Grateful for the day that brings new light. Grateful to remember what's good and right. God is powerful, our greatest miracle. And God is all there is, and God has freed us all. Aye, 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 aye. He said, and God has freed us all. So, well, if God has freed us all, why are some people incarcerated? Why are some people enslaved by other individuals? grateful. I can hear the voices calling through the wilderness. I'm grateful. I can see their beauty and know that they are blessed. I'm grateful. I can sing a song of freedom and answer the call. I'm grateful to create a world of kindness that honors one and all. I'm grateful for the way the rain washes the earth and clears the air. I'm grateful for the heart that sees, the heart that cares. I'm grateful for the way that love rises from your soul. I'm grateful for the truth that opens the mind that was closed. Ay, 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 ay. We got a lot of questions. Why? Where is God? Right now, I invite everybody to have, let God be in here. Let God shine you. When you're sharing and caring about others, that's shining. That's what it means to shine. Caring about yourself, your beginnings, and learning to bless it. To forgive. Forgive our parents for the things they did that they did not know. Forgive those around us who may have abused us. They didn't know. They didn't know who you were, and they sure didn't know who they were. There's something great about us. There's something great deep within us that wants to be known. God is powerful, our greatest miracle. Love is all there is, and love has freed us all. So you got to come on up. You got to wake on up. Become aware of what's happening right here, right now. And right now, I'm allowing myself to be calm enough, to be still enough, to see that God is working in all these scenarios. The scenarios where switch your page, just switch your page. And it's baby Ade, it's baby Rickie, it's baby Sue, it's baby people on this thread who may have come through a hard time.
Yes.
But we're going to make it through. Because the universe is a perfect system, even though we look at it at the ways it's evolving and folks are becoming aware of who they are. Sometimes they do horrible things. Horrible things.
Yes.
But people have done beautiful things too. And it must have been really beautiful because we're still here on that side. And I'm grateful for you, Ade. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that you were courageous enough to ask your dad about your daddy. What happened, Daddy? And he was honest enough to tell you. Sometimes we don't want to have those hard conversations.
Yes.
Sometimes it's really hard to say the truth. The truth of the matter that you're seeing. Sometimes it's really hard to come clean in a situation. Sometimes it's like, well, maybe I won't say anything. I'll just hold back and I just won't say anything. I'll just hold my peace. I don't know if that's holding your peace.
Right? A piece of something.
Maybe you're holding a piece of you,
Right.
a piece of you in bondage. But I see people on
Mm-hmm.
this thread who have found the way to open up, to speak the truth, to move, to move on when they needed to, or to start, start a whole new life, anchored in life, the life that God is. And what was calling them was the presence of God,
Mm-hmm.
calling them forth in their own way. Yes, God is powerful. And in that song, it says, God is powerful, our greatest miracle. And this life is a miracle that all these things can happen at the same time. And you can hear a story about somebody that was forced to do something that was so terrible,
Mm-hmm.
and that she would live and become a productive and strong human being, having come through that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's amazing, this life and what's
Yes.
possible. We're
Yes.
going to make it through, you know.
We
When,
are.
when you find the face of God and I see you and I am reminded. Oh, thank you, Kathleen. And I believe that's it, that people would see you.
Yeah. And see God. They will feel you and feel God. They will
Woo!
hug you and know God.
Yes,
That just your presence makes your heart goes, oh my God.
yes,
That's the freedom song.
yes.
That I'm hearing the lyrics in the song. What do you know? What is it? How does it go? What is it you know of God?
What is it you know of God?
Yeah.
Greater giving, greater loving, greater joy.
Mm,
Where to find the face of God? In the river, in the laughter, in the soul. It's like as a kid, I had a strong sense of humor. And I think I got it from my family. That when I
mm,
went into my particular exile, because it was like an exile being away from my family. And I know people in this thread have had moments when they've been it looks like it was a long journey away. Maybe it was a marriage, maybe it was a relationship, maybe it was going away to school, being away from your family, maybe it was another country, where you would want to be someplace else, but you were where you were,
mm.
and right there in that exile, that wilderness like state,
Yes.
something begins to emerge inside of you that's
Mm,
greater than the condition that you're in. And
mm,
that was the whole point of it. You've been set up
for a breakthrough.
for a breakthrough. This
Is
ain't
that?
no easy dimension.
Yes.
And
Yes.
this
Yes.
is a very challenging dimension that we're in. That even after you
Mm,
achieve a certain level of what people might call success,
yes.
after you won the BAFTA award,
I like how you said it too. I heard it. I see what you did there.
you know what I'm saying? Even after you won it, you go like, wait a
Mm,
minute, what is this really for me? Then what does
mm.
this really mean in
What does
terms
it
of
mean?
what does it mean?
Yes.
What it mean? What
Mhm.
does it mean to be free? It's
Yes.
like when I look inside of me, pondering what it means to be free. You know, I know that I'll do better when I'm doing what I came to do. And what's mine to do? What is it that's ours to do? We got Melissa that's on the thread. What is ours
Mhm.
to do? You know, it's like we can call it a lot of different things, but at the end of it, it's love.
It's love. It's love. And can we find that love within ourselves? Can we look in the mirror and see the face of God? You
Yeah.
know, it's like one of the things that came to me recently is the struggle in life with ourselves, with others, in politics, a war, whatever it is. It's always about the struggle for identity.
Hmm.
It's about who am I?
Hmm.
Either the identity is I'm better than you, or you hurt me, or I'm gonna hurt you, or it's like if the quest for identity is to bring you back to yourself,
Hmm.
oh, you meet God through your own expression. And when we know who
Wait, wait,
we
wait.
are,
You say we meet God
through our own
through
expression.
our own expression.
Yes.
When we talk about that, through your own expression.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, for me, what I found, there's a trick to that because I'll use an example. Well, so let me say this first. First, there is this part of thinking, okay, I must always be loving. I must always be kind. So I meet God through my expression. But sometimes you may be something else. So we judge ourselves for being something else. I had to make a call to what they call the council over here. They're like the county, and they charge for picking up the trash and the fire. Well, they call it fire brigade over here. Just different thing, the police and stuff. And they're pretty ridiculous about it. So anyway, they added another £65 onto some arrears that I had. And when I called, first the line is always busy. You're on there for like 30 to 45 minutes. So I spoke to a lady. She said, "Oh, I need to transfer you to somebody else." And the guy came on. Sometimes they said, most of the time they say their names, but he didn't. So I asked him. He said his name is Mr. Moody. Now I didn't catch it the first time he said it, but he was pretty moody. And we were going back and forth. And I'm like, he said, "Oh, we sent you a notice because," well, he said, "We sent you a notice 31st of May, 2023." When he first said it, I was like, "Oh, I never got it." And I just heard 2023. I said, "You sent me a final notice when?" Because the letter I got was to go to court and they're going to charge extra. And I'm like, "No, I'm not paying the extra." So I said, "You send me a notice in 2023? And yes, it's your responsibility to pay your bills." I'm like, "Absolutely, it is." But how could you send me something over a year ago? We went back and forth, not necessarily arguing, but just I was trying to understand the logic. And he said, "Well, we are a small local authority. We don't have abundance of staff, so we can't send letters out. First of all, the letters are automatically generated." I said, "So you want grace, but you're not willing to give it to your customers. You're talking about how small you are and how you can't be effective."
So I get it. So you were reading his rights because you needed to. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then when I said got to a point, I was like, "You know what? Forget it." I said, well, I didn't say forget it. I just said, "Okay, I want to make an arrangement." And then he was going to add another £17 to something. I was like, "Wait, what?" And he was explaining. I said, "You know what? I'm going into a meeting right now, and my head is not in the right place to make an arrangement. I'll just call back."
Yeah.
I got off that call. I was in the car, sat down for a minute, took a breath. I thought I was going to call back that day. I didn't. The next day when I called, I just called and I said to the lady, "I want to make an arrangement to pay off this money that I owe." And she was like, "Okay, how much can you afford to pay?" The
Hmm.
process was, it's like hot knife going through butter
Hmm.
because I knew I was agitated and
Yeah.
I wanted him to see what he was doing, but I knew I couldn't make any kind of arrangement
Yeah.
based on how I was feeling.
Yes.
Now, I don't judge how I was. I actually embrace it about myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then when I spoke to the lady the next day, Spirit just said, "Yeah, sometimes you just got to choose your battle." I'm like, "Yes,
Yeah.
I know. Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes it's okay."
I got one for you because talking about choosing battles and freedom. I feel like in this country, in America, uh, with the insurance, people are having, we've been met with all kinds of silliness, especially if you're a homeowner or, you got a car. It's like you got to pay the car note, you got to pay insurance. And then if you have an accident, the
They don't want
insurance
to pay.
comes out, it's like, it's just like a very, is it really reveals a mediocrity.
To put it nicely.
Not a democracy, a mediocrity. So anyway,
Yes.
when it's time to pay, so I got a notice that said, you need earthquake insurance, and if the earthquake happens, your home insurance is not going to cover it. And I'm going like, what? I mean, in a dead kind of way. What? What you talking about? And then so I called, and they explained to me what the situation was. But between insurance companies not wanting to, not paying for things when it goes wrong, Then you got to
Right.
get a home warranty to cover what they won't pay. And then you got to get earthquake. I mean, it's like a lot of money that comes out of the pocket. And you look out, you're paying close to $1,000 a month for what might happen, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and that's just a lot of money. And so I would talk to the person at the office about her job when I would call about it. I was like, "Do you know what you're doing here?" I was like, I say, this is an interesting job. And she would affirm with me the situation. She says, I know, but it doesn't pay. They won't pay it. So she was just a person that worked at the office. She
Mm-hmm.
didn't make the rules. But do you know, we would talk often and she would, because it was just like, I know the people who owned the insurance company. So it was like I would talk to this person. She was like the rep that I would be talking to. But I knew with me defining what that company does
Mm-hmm.
and how unethical it was.
Yes.
I said, I said, you got an interesting job.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know she doesn't work there anymore? She went into being a nurse.
Mm. Really taking care of people
She's
rather
taking,
than pretending to be taking care of people
yes,
and shafting them.
yes. And
Yes.
that was the point, of our
Yes.
whole conversation. You never
Yes.
know how God is using you, but I never was unkind. I was
Mm-hmm.
never unkind. I just was present with her, and I was like inquisitive, and I
Mm-hmm.
was I was also very strong in knowing that America can do better than this,
Yes.
and that I'm going to do better by
Mm-hmm.
making my own decisions, not based on fear, but but
Right.
but based on what makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
What really makes sense, and knowing that the real umbrella is God.
Yes.
The real umbrella is God.
Mm-hmm.
That God is our umbrella, and to give thanks for that, and to do our best. And that love is important. It's like
Yes.
Marcus says, love is a compass. Love is the compass. Love
Mm-hmm.
is the reason.
Mm-hmm.
Love is the reason for all of it.
Ah, you got the greatest producer. She is on it. She pulled out the, yeah, she be on it.
He says, love is the glue that holds everything together. It is okay to surrender to it. Love's got your back. Love is self-sustaining. Trust it. And that was written by the great Ade Anifowose from his book. Tell him the name of your book.
Go get yours on Amazon. Spiritual appetizer, spiritual appetizers for the soul. You got the best producer.
She's on
Woo!
it. She's
She's
on it.
on it.
I remember when she started. She just knew how to end and begin the stream.
Right.
Now she's splashing stuff up and down. Yeah.
At that time when she needed to end it, sometimes she was like, "Oops, sorry," and then she was like, "Oh yeah, start. Yeah, you go 30 more seconds. Okay, live,
Yeah.
Ricky."
Yeah. So
Yeah.
now, the 4th of, okay, I'm not going to say what I usually say, the 4th of July, but the 4th of July
You're not gonna say it. Okay,
is
good. Thanks for
coming
not saying it, but go ahead.
because it's the birthday of my grandson. So it's the Jolly's birthday.
Ah.
He's born on the
Mm,
4th of July. And
mm,
and while things are still unfolding in this country to
mm,
reveal a balance of an order that would be good for everybody. And there might be a stretch for that. I just do give thanks that along the way, I have met some of the most wonderful people, you know, in this country, and there are many of
mm.
them are on this thread right now. I want
Yes.
to give thanks for the journey of our ancestors that stood and that built and that, like I said, I honor those who walked and worked and built and bled and died for me to stand and sing in celebration until all are free. You
Yes.
know, it's like uh, all of us on the thread. I think when with the freedoms that we have, we're here to do our best. To bring our best.
Mm,
To see the best.
yes.
To
Mm.
and to live our best life. Uh,
Yeah, I listened to you, and as you were even going through, I don't know if it was tension. I think you were just coming through how your songs are the instructions, they are the commands, they are the reminders, the affirmation. And I remember when I don't know, I'm just drawing a blank. I guess because I'm in the middle of this, but I'm hearing the lyric. It's like love when it's hard to love.
Yeah, yeah. I love it
Love
when
when it's
change
hard
the
to love.
world.
I love it will change the world. Love when it's hard to love. Because sometimes people think of love, oh, love, yeah. Sometimes you got to do more than love it. No,
Mm.
you need to sit with love a little bit more. Can you love when it's hard to love?
Yeah.
What's happening in America when you think of politics is happening over here. There's a voting taking place. Well, today, July 4th. And the difference is they announced the election 2 months ago, and then they start campaigning. In America, they've been campaigning 20 years before the election. But
Hmm.
it's the same mess.
Hmm.
This country has its own version of Agent Orange. It's the same. It's like they meet and they meet every so often and say, what are we going to do? So this is what I'm going to do. And then they do it in their own cultural ways. It's the same madness. And the question for me is, because I'm voting, but I just don't know which one of those
Right.
people. I'm doing my research, but I don't have a lot of time. But
Yeah.
it's like that itself, taking the time. People say I don't want to vote. A vote, no vote is a vote, and
Hmm.
I don't care if people vote or not. I don't care because I
Hmm.
know who I am.
Hmm.
I know this is a production, and
Hmm.
I know that we are all telling the story. When
Hmm.
we get to face ourselves and say, what is true for me? Somebody can say, I'm not voting, and they feel so at peace, and they could even say they're heard from the divine not to
Hmm.
vote. Hey, so be it. It could be their one vote that can change everything. That if you had voted, this would have happened. We
Hmm.
don't know. But what is
Hmm.
important? Can I love when it's hard to love?
Hmm.
Because in that way, I'm making way for the divine, for God to reveal itself as me. And
Hmm.
it's that glue that holds it together. So I don't have to be afraid of any kind of personality, no matter what's coming out of their mouth, no matter what history I can see. It's like, you know what? You're like a speck of dust in all
Hmm.
that I know. Because
Hmm.
I know a power and presence that is in charge of this all. That's the
Hmm.
growth.
And
That's the
it's
lesson.
and it's a setup for you to stand tall and for you to do well.
Absolutely.
It's like it doesn't. I mean, it was great to have a good looking president in the way of Barack Obama and his beautiful wife and his beautiful children. It was
Yes.
great to see a beautiful family, and it
Mhm.
was great to see them model values on one hand that were so
Other
wholesome.
than the fact that he had a tan outfit suit on, oh my God, he had this tan outfit that the whole world went crazy about. You don't know about that?
I don't. I believe me. I was on another zone. You know,
Right.
it's like I don't be looking at what people are wearing. Sometimes
Yeah.
I look at what they're not wearing. But
That's the worst thing he did.
you know, but but my point is that at least in his heart, what you didn't see him doing was stealing. And I mean, let's put it this way, because it's hard to not be stealing if you're the president of this country. But because you're going to be doing it from some, it's going to be a
Yeah,
more thing. But it's like because
yeah,
it's a whole system, the way this country
yeah.
comes into it, especially coming from being coming from Great Britain, and
Mhm.
and all the reasons why they didn't want to do what the king said do, or the queen. It's
Right.
like we want to make our
Absolutely.
own decisions. You
It's
know,
in the it's in the DNA.
yeah, they
It's
they
in
were
the
like.
DNA.
Yeah, so it is, I can't get too deep into that, but I just want to say that when there's something that's wholesome that is being modeled, it does help a country to be better.
Absolutely.
It helps because people sometimes are they just need something. Some people, they already wholesome inside. They
Hmm.
already understand. They go like, Colin Powell, what you talking about? Ain't no weapons of
Hmm.
mass destruction. I mean, I knew that before they even said it wasn't no. I'm going like, it's a
Right.
setup. You know, they
Yes.
they're going in there because they're doing what they're
Hmm.
making every case to go and invade a place because it
Absolutely.
was about oil. you know.
Mhm.
Now we know that. Back then it was like, well, 9/11, blah blah blah, and folks were the same kind of, oh, and through
Mhm.
all of that, I just sang,
Mhm.
I prayed, I demonstrated as best I could. But what I really did was take care of my kids, made sure
Mhm.
they went to schools where they would learn how to think, and be challenged, about their opinions about things, and that
Yes.
they learn how to research and how to really listen, so that what they bring to the world will be healing, because this world needs it. You know,
Mhm.
it's because the world needs. That's why we came. It ain't. It's not really about Agent Orange or
Mhm.
good looking tan suit. What it's
Mhm.
about is what happens when we see each other, and how can we hold each other up? How can
That's
we
it.
help each other up? How can we
Yes.
make sure that we're good? How can we serve today?
Mhm.
Wait, that's
Today, sweet spirit.
I mean, but y'all know the songs. How can I serve today?
Mhm.
Oh Lord, speak in ways that I will understand. Where you lead me, I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go. I won't ever be invited to the White House to sing and perform. I was invited to the Democratic National Convention, but not really me. It was the choir, mostly because it was a beautiful, diverse choir. Kind of looked like all of America. How can I share today? Oh Lord, speak in ways that I will understand. Where you lead me, I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go. Where you lead me, I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go. Mm. Where you lead me,
Mm.
where you lead
Well,
me.
Ricky,
Yeah.
there was a time I couldn't sing that song.
Why?
Well, during my government retreat,
Yes.
aka detention center,
Yes.
I was like, "Where you lead me, I will go." I need to really make space for that in my heart. After that, it's like I didn't want to go there. I mean, in there, I realized that okay, this is where you are. This is what you're dealing with. But I tell you, when I came back to UK, I was like, "Ooh, when you leave me, I will go." Oh, I don't know. I really need to check in and understand that.
So I just
And
want to piggyback to let everybody know. Hey, sis, my sister's on. Hey, Ansela, Marion Lewis, Marcus Huffman joined us, Kathleen. There was a moment, and some of you already know Ade's story, but he had done something unwise with his green card, not kept it up to date. Is that right?
yeah, I hadn't finished the process, so I didn't have it.
So you didn't have the green card, and he was in the country, and Homeland Security swooped down on him, took him off the bus, and took him to jail, and put him in a cage
Yep,
for 40
cage
days,
on wheels.
and then deported him back to the UK. And he had been in. You were living at that time where, in Atlanta, or were you here in
I was in
California?
Atlanta. No, I was in Atlanta.
You're in Atlanta,
Yeah,
Georgia,
yeah,
and
yeah.
so they were watching you, and they knew. They go like, oh, this is somebody we can take and send back, and they did. But
Yeah.
the thing is that it wasn't. It didn't look like the highest and the best for you, because you knew where you wanted to be, and you knew where you wanted to be. You know,
Yeah.
but the situation put you in another situation, and
Mm,
you you were now in the UK, and pretty soon you'd be closer to your father. You'd be around your family, and when your dad passed on, right a month before, a couple,
mm,
he was with you.
mhm,
You, you
mhm.
got to cry together, hold each other, and really understand, you know,
Yes.
your connection.
Mhm.
And that was just as much a part of your development as anything.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, at the time, because I talked earlier about I never felt at home. Didn't know, I never felt at home, not here, not in Nigeria before I came to America for the first time. But Atlanta was that place where I felt at home. And
Mhm.
around the time I was stopped and put in a detention center, before that anyway, I felt at home. I felt like I am where I belong. Something about Atlanta. And I'm like, okay, now I feel at home, but there's some things I need to correct. I don't know how. I was looking into correcting it, but it's like love said, yeah, you feel at home, but ooh, we need to clean house.
Yeah.
We need to clean house, which meant I needed to come back. I was not trying to come back to this country. I don't
Mhm.
really give a this country, like whatever. But I had to come here to face my childhood,
Mhm.
to get a random text from another friend about a documentary that's being done, and
Woo!
then not hearing anything after so many years,
Wait a
literally
minute. You
two
said he had
years.
to come back to face his childhood.
Yes, I
Yeah.
had to face it. You
Yeah.
can't be at home if you don't face it.
Yes.
You can't be at home if your child, your inner child, is not at home with you.
Yeah.
If you're denying and avoiding it, there is no freedom in that because you're constantly telling, no, no, don't come up there. We got guests. Don't raise your ugly head right now. No, 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 right now. There is no freedom in that.
Hmm.
And what we can't be with won't let us be.
Yeah.
Now, it won't let me be. The
Mhm.
love of my inner child was saying, you got to come back to the real home. And the real home is not Atlanta, it's not UK, it's not Nigeria, it's not where you were conceived in Germany. It's within you.
Yes. Yes. That's right.
So when I am home,
Hmm.
I get to call wherever I am home. I
Ah.
don't need to wait for a feeling because of where I'm at, what it looks like.
Yeah.
I show up as home.
Yes.
So I am at home. And as you said earlier, I can be comfortable wherever.
You can be comfortable anywhere,
Yes.
and it was like you will be free when you understand that the cage where you live is made of thoughts.
I
Yeah.
was running from me. So
Yeah.
they had to put me in a cage.
Yeah.
The van, I call it cage on wheels. But
Hmm.
it's in that place where I remember saying to Spirit in the detention center, if going back to UK is the highest and best,
Hmm.
I surrender.
Hmm.
I surrender.
Hmm.
And that shift, I felt it, I knew it, that I literally, when I talk to other guys in there, like, listen, they might be restricted our physical freedom right now,
Hmm.
but that inner freedom, the true freedom within, they have no access to it
Yes.
unless we convince ourselves that they do. And I remember talking to some of the guys who've been there years.
Yeah.
They're seeking asylum, they might be deporting them back to Cameroon. And the guy said, I needed to hear this today. And I
Hmm.
was there for 40 days and 40 nights. Some
Hmm.
of them were there for years.
Oh, wow.
Years. Years. I
Yeah.
remember when I first got there, yes, for years. When I first got there, the next morning, I said, God, I don't belong here. Like
Hmm.
me? Life
Hmm.
coach, I what you mean? I don't belong here. And Spirit said, you don't belong here. These other guys you're looking at, do they belong here?
Hmm.
Ooh, it was humbling
Yeah.
because in that moment I recognized, oh, yeah, they without knowing it, it's kind of like me. I don't know about all these people, but
Hmm.
I don't belong here.
Hmm.
Spirit had me look at that. It was humbling.
And you get to see a lot about this country. There are a lot of people in prison. I mean, 3 million people. This country is this country is something else. You know,
Absolutely.
it's something else. When you get when you look at the ways it functions, but
Yes,
but even there, I mean, I don't care what it looks like. God is there. You know,
absolutely.
God is there, and
In the
when
midst of it.
freedom in the soul, like I have a song that says, "When the freedom in the soul begins to design," it's like uh, uh out of sorts are you, like the one who sits in jail, thinking how it all went wrong and how the system failed, till the tears subside and the freedom in the soul begins to design how she will land in love again. She'll land in love again. Fly away, little bird. Don't be afraid. You land in love again. We land in love again. Build your faith on these words that we land in love again. The freedom in the soul begins to decide how we will land in
God's freedom
love.
song.
For song, man, it's just
Woo.
God has blessed it me.
Ricky, did you? I just caught something. So you called today's theme God's freedom song,
Yes.
and we didn't need the reverb because
Mhm.
God's freedom song don't need to be amplified or nothing. It is just what it is. You
Ah,
go Ricky instead of a reverb. You go
yeah.
Ricky. That was good enough because that's God's freedom song. Ooh. Mm.
Thank you, life coach. Well, here's a shout out to Reverend Aaron McCabe and Mark Livingston of Unity Village Chapel, Demora Alexander, Candida Rose, and Misa Malone. Demora Alexander was formerly the music and arts director at Unity of Omaha, Nebraska. Candida Rose is at Unity, I think it's Bedford, Massachusetts, and Misa Malone is Unity San Francisco. And I just want to thank them for their support for me during the Posse Fest at Unity Village for my concert. And then they did music, also their own songs, and just were stunning in their presentations. And I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you to the whole Unity group for all that they give. And Unity Village, if you've never been there, take a trip to Kansas City and going over there. It's so beautiful. Doc and the band and all of that. So we just had a great time. Unity of Anderson and Landon, who played with me, Landon Wood, who played drums with me, also was really fantastic. This Sunday, the Sunday devotional will be at Big Blue, okay, on the 14th. The Sunday devotional will be popping up at Guidance Church of Religious Science on Crenshaw and Florence. So you can go to my website, rickiebyars.org, to find out more about where the Bee Hood is going and what I'm doing. And on the third Sunday of this month, we will be in Leimert Park at the gallery of Aziz, the great Aziz Diagne, who's a great artist, and is allowing us to use his gallery for our devotional. So that's a beautiful thing on this path that leads to love. It's brought me up front and center with beautiful people like Sue Lingle, who is here. Come on into the thread, Sue. This great Sue Lingle, who's in with us, who was our producer. Well, I'm calling you the great because, like, the thing is that when you have a great individual, like these people who are here, they come for you. I'm calling them great because they recognize the greatness in me. They came to be with me and to help me to serve God in their capacities and in my life. And when nobody was calling me, sometimes there's like Coach Ade said, I want you to be on my program. Well, actually, people always been calling me, but when he did call, it felt so good to say yes the first time you asked me to come on your program. And I thought you were so fantastic, and it was an honor to meet somebody that totally got me. And then you got Sue Lingle here, who totally gets me. You
Yeah.
know, I just want to thank you, Sue. And what do you think of today's program?
So much good, heartfelt. I love you guys together. It's just a conversation of love.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you can
Mhm.
write all the notes that you want, but it always goes. And that's the beauty of it.
Yes, it's a
Yes.
love flow.
Uh,
It's a love flow.
yes, it
Yes.
is. And
Well, I hope that
Ricky, well, go ahead.
well, I hope that if anybody has been in jail, imprisoned by their own thinking,
Mm.
that they got something tonight,
Mhm.
and just got points to consider, about, how we can see the world differently, by returning to love and loving and allowing God to make us stronger. To let, here's a shout out to Rob McDonald, who has a new project, Make Me Stronger, the live collection. You can find it on all of the platforms. Pretty soon we'll release it. Not this Sunday though, because he's on the road. What? He's on the road on his release Sunday. So, but but you
You're
can
going to
go.
release this Sunday for the next Sunday. Is that what
Yeah,
you're doing?
the music is good. The music is good. Isn't the music good, Sue? You like
Oh,
it?
it's good.
Mhm.
It's good. It's been well chosen. It wasn't a overnight project by any means.
Yeah, and I want to thank
Yeah.
Marcus Huffman, who is on, who
Hmm.
is one of the curators, who is the curator for it, along with myself. And Rob, we just went through and say, well, do you like this? You like that?
Mm.
Is a shout out to the Agape International Spiritual Center and their fantastic sound engineers, who many times we were at odds with each other about the sound, but they delivered some of the best sound that I've ever heard at any church. They did a great job of recording the music, and for all the singers and the people whose performances rest on B Radio right now.
Mhm.
BRadio.org is a place that you can go 24/7, streaming inspirational music, commercial free. And we have our own radio station. And sometimes I'm on there and I see one person's listening, two people. Then sometimes it's like 20 people. Sometimes it's every now and then the numbers get really high. But whatever, it's 24 hours and it's there for you. Uh, I want to ask Life Coach Ade, is there anything else that you got coming up that you want to tell people about? We can mention your movie and how they can find it also.
Well, I'm up now working with the NHS, the National Health Service is the main health care service in UK, the 9 to 5 hours. So most of my time is dealing with that. Starting a men's group today, later on today for me. So I'm excited about that, but nothing right now that I'm promoting to the world from the business of being
Yeah.
perspective. But yeah, so the men's group, I mean, it's open. I mean, so far everybody's in UK,
Now,
but
when is your honey coming to the UK?
she coming in. What's today's
Look at
date?
that
She's
smile.
come. Oh yeah, this is just a glimpse of what's happening inside of me. She's coming in 11 days. Ooh, Lord. Actually,
His fiance is
yeah,
coming
well,
to town.
she's coming to town. Actually, no, I lied. In 8 days, I am so looking forward to her being here. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Hey,
Yes.
thank you. Maxine says today's program was great. So much love shared.
Thank you,
Uh,
Maxine.
that's all we're
Yeah.
here to do, is to share the love. And
Yes.
if you want to know how to get through a tight spot, ask God to help you to love.
Hmm.
Also,
Stay
if
in
you if you
communication.
got if you got ringing in your ears, I got this book that says that is the call of the divine. That is
Hmm.
the sound of silence.
Mm.
So go to be still and get used to listening to it and
Yes.
hearing it as the voice of God calling you.
Mm.
It is the
Mm.
voice of the universe. It's the sound of silence.
Yes.
And
The
allow
voice
yourself
of God.
to be with God in a holy, holy way.
Hmm.
Thank you all. You've touched my life, blessed
Thank
it, and I'm
you.
all right because you love me.
Yeah. Peace and blessings, everyone.
Peace and love to everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. God bless.
Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God.